Hello. There we go. Good morning. Got my morning sideburns going on. Oh, you know what? I should probably make this bigger. I can see that. There we go. All right. As promised. Look at how good I am at keeping my promises. I said I'd be doing a TikTok live. At least I'm going to check that I said I was going to do it. Should be on the secret page. Doodly doo 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 doo. Saturday, January 3rd, weekend bonus. Weekend bonus. 9 a.m. TikTok. Happy New Year. Yeah. Hello. I see a number of recognizable names. And so, hey, nice to see you. It's funny, the camera looks really weird to me, but regardless. Leslie, nice to see you. That one persona. Leslie, I hope you are keeping up with your good book. I think that's great. Cheryl with an S. Cheryl without an S. Cheryl as an Abbott Elementary. Yeah. All the Cheryls and Pamela and all sorts of people showing up. So, hey, good morning. I'm still in my thing here, my robe, because it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday, and you know what? I mean, I don't know. It feels like it's been a Saturday week, but I'm going to keep that. And I'm glad you love the Saturday morning live, that one persona. You know I don't do these often, but it felt like something fun to do, especially since my schedule will not allow me to do a declutter party. So here's a fun thing. I was thinking about this when I was scheduling the declutter parties. Good morning, Judy. Hey, and speaking of declutter parties, Judy, I just saw your email. We will totally make that happen. Not a problem. Okay, I'll have to figure it out. Yeah, and you know what, Leslie, I like having a flexible, loose schedule. And I knew that I couldn't do that, but I could do this. And so one of the things I thought might be fun was to kind of explain what goes on at a declutter party. So if you want to kind of pretend there's one and play along at home, I'm here. And this is one of the great things about the declutter parties. So when I do a declutter party, and if those of you who haven't met me, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. But just real quick, a decluttering party is really something that, you're not doing decluttering by yourself. So we already have that connection both to you and me and also other people around you. It is practicing chunking down your time. So we use the timer, and in the decluttering parties, we do 3 20-minute chunks. Now, during the hour that I'm here on TikTok live this morning, the math won't work for the 60s, because you also want to have breaks in between, even if they're just a minute. Stopping and then starting again really is a skill that you learn and you practice, and you kind of build that muscle of stopping and starting. So if you ever wanted to do your own declutter party while one of the TikTok lives are on, really the only thing you need is the decision to do it, your own timer. I tend to use either the timer on my phone when I'm doing these things, or sometimes if I'm going to be walking around the house, I'll use like the timer on my stove timer. And set your timer for 15 minutes and go focus on an area to declutter that you could declare it in the comments. When the timer goes off, you check where you are. You congratulate yourself on what you did. You get curious about what you didn't get done. And also you notice if you remained kind of focused where you are, not really tightly, but like that you're feeling good about what you're doing. Okay. So I just thought it would be kind of fun to suggest that might be a thing that you do during any live. But today is Saturday. We do have 2 declutter parties going on tomorrow. But enough of that. Though all that information is on the secret page that is available to the people who have joined the email list. So there's info there. But in the meantime, I just want to give a shout out and a hey and a hello to the new folks who were like on Saturday in bed, as I was moments ago, scrolling on TikTok saying, what's up here? So Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. Erin, good morning to you as well. I just was talking about how people could do their own declutter party while I'm here. And the thing is, too, about the declutter party, especially even if you do it by yourself when, well, you won't be by yourself, you'll just be kind of constructing it for yourself, is I'm here for you for when you get stuck. That's really one of the neat things, too, is can you imagine doing any kind of project and saying, I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna do what I know how to do, but when I get to that point where I don't know what to do, I can easily turn to somebody and say, hey, what do I do now? And I'm there for encouragement and problem solving and coaching and all that so that you get some ideas and then you can continue on, as opposed to if you were just literally by yourself, what do I do here? And then the unhelpful part of your brain says, I don't know. So if you don't know, you don't do, right? So, yeah, so we've got that going on. A possible you playing declutter party at your home while I'm here live with you for the next 50 some odd hours. But maybe that's a little bit too ahead of the game for some people. Maybe you're just tuning in on TikTok and you don't know who I am. Beth, Decluttering Life Coach, Destination Decluttered. I'm here for the next, 53 minutes or so on, and I just totally took a peek, Saturday, January 3rd, to help you where you are stuck with decluttering, because all of us are always on a journey, and there's different things that come up at every parts of the journey. Alrighty. Okay, so that one persona, I love it. That Leslie is in on the declutter party. So she's going to set her timer, chunk it down. I'm going to go through 2 kitchen drawers for the first half hour. So that's great, Leslie. I would recommend, too, playing around with the timer. The timer is not meant to stress you out. The timer actually is to encourage you to start, because you know that you have kind of a Pavlovian bell of when the bell goes off, I can stop if I choose to, okay? And the starting and the stopping and starting again are often the skills that really you would benefit by strengthening those, and not just you, Leslie, but everybody, is knowing that I've practiced just getting myself started, and I get better at it every time I do it, and then I allow myself to stop, okay? Now, that one persona, in the process of decluttering our bedroom that has become a chuck-it room, my brain knows it will get better, but I'm easily disheartened. Ooh, look at that word you use. So good. That it's in the current state. Okay. When you're disheartened, you're not feeling a helpful emotion, a good emotion, that to me indicates that the backseat driver has told you something to cause you to feel bad about your bedroom. So sometimes it can be very helpful to dig just a little bit deeper to address what they're saying so you can kind of clear the air and move forward. Okay? So that one persona, a couple of things. One is I would get curious to say, okay, what is the thought, the sentence that is running through my head that is causing me to feel disheartened? You know me, I'm going to say, write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper that you folded in half, because it's only half the story. Your unhelpful half. So just writing it down. Do not give them the microphone and have them go on and on and on unless you feel like hanging out there for a while. Ask the backseat drivers why, as you said, what is causing me to feel disheartened when I look at the current state, a thought goes through my head, write it down, and I can help you with that so you might feel better. Now, as you're thinking of that, please know that it is incredibly common, aka you are not alone, if your bedroom becomes the chuck-it room. And I will explain to you why this tends to happen. Is many times when we go to declutter, we tend to focus on the rooms that are shared with other people, and also the ones that the public might come in. Not the public, but like friends and people that could come in and see it. So we tend to focus on rooms like the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room, den, rumpus room, whatever you want to call it. Those ones that other people will see. Now, typically, a bedroom is a room that not necessarily people will see right away. So sometimes in the wanting to make the surfaces clean in a more public room, we don't spend the time making the decisions and doing it kind of the slow process. We want to do it quickly, so we temporarily will kind of move our unmade decisions to a more private room. Okay? Judy is saying, just so you know, that one persona, Judy is saying, bingo. That's what's happened in my bedroom. Yeah, didn't organize, only moved. Yeah, it says cat mama, tried to get going, seen your cat. Yep. So I will just offer to you, you're not alone when your bedroom tends to be a dumping ground. This room right here has been in the past, was very much a dumping ground. And still to this day, occasionally we will throw stuff in this room. Not so much though. Honestly, I'm not showing off, but we really have got it down to a good habit. But I will say you're not alone if your bedroom gets that way. Many people do it. And don't get disheartened by looking at it. This is a phrase that I use, and I know Erin didn't have such great luck with this, but literally just try to say, oh well, I put some stuff in the bedroom, like no big whoop. BFD, calm down. Like if they're trying to make you feel bad, say, dude, backseat driver, dude, it's just stuff in the bedroom. It is not a moral failing, okay? It is not a moral failing if you've got stuff in your house. It's not even a moral failing if you don't do anything about it. There's no failing, there's no judgment here, okay? Yeah, so it's a matter of finding a home, sorting through the items. This is what that one persona is saying. It's a matter of finding a home for something, sorting through the items, anticipating the decision-making sorting process. Now, isn't that interesting that you're kind of dreading, I'm assuming, the decision-making process? Here's an interesting thing. This just kind of came to me, and I'm going to give it some space. When we dread something, how did it get to this point? Well, what's your answer to that? How did it get to this point? How about that I've been busy, I've been tired, it's the holidays, I didn't have time or energy to focus on things. There are times when I let things pile up because I know I don't have the bandwidth, right? My band is not wide. And I know that I want to do a good job at the decision making, so I will postpone it to when I have the time and the energy, okay? And please practice this year stopping and disrupting and interrupting the backseat driver, and stop trying to shame yourself, because it's working. And when you shame yourself, you feel crappy, and it's less likely that you're going to do something. Yeah, post-holiday slump and hate winter. Yeah, trust me, I'm doing the both. What I say is then turn up what don't you like about winter? Maybe you turn up the heat in the house, because that's me. I don't like the cold. It's a great time. Actually, I honestly feel like July, You're probably seeing my brain break down in real time right here. January. I think January is a great time to declutter because I don't want to be outside. As soon as the weather's nice, I'm like a little kid and I want to go run out and play. Okay? But what I will say this, when you're anticipating the decision-making and sorting process, let's decouple those. The decision-making process, because sorting can pretty much be done at a different level in your brain. You recognize a pattern, you put like items together. There's no judgment involved in that. But if you are dreading making decisions, please know that decisions, and especially decluttering, is not meant to make you feel less than, or I'm giving up something I want. Because if you want something, you keep it. If you don't want it, practicing deciding, think of it. I don't want this and I let go of it. It's away and then my life feels better. Okay? So, okay, honestly, some of it, and I'm just reading what that one persona is saying. Notice that there's a thought process. Some of it is decluttering other areas. Yeah, and, 100%. And the deal with it later stuff ended up there. Right. So, notice you have then, if you think about it, you have a concentration. You have a concentration of a lot of kind of decision-y things. So, this is really always fascinating to me as I do my one-on-one coaching and even doing these TikTok lives, is the feeling of overwhelm and heaviness that can be triggered by a large amount of something. A large amount of like, oh gosh, that whole corner of the bedroom is stuff that I need to make a decision on, and I might be afraid to make a decision. That one persona, I will remind you, but I'll quickly remind the new folks that have signed up that are tuning in, the 4 stages, the 4 steps to get into, to get started with decluttering. And 2 of them, none of them involve even moving your body with the exception of small movements. One is your physical self. How are you feeling physically? Scan from the crown on down. Number 2, and this is important, and if you don't do this step, you're going to feel it when you try to get into gear, is being kind and calming down your nervous system. If you're feeling overwhelmed, feeling less overwhelmed by slowing down, breathing down, shoulders down, taking into consideration that you're feeling a bit of overwhelm, and then doing something to change that, calming down your nervous system. Number 3 is going to be writing down. Now, to me, writing down is critical to this because it gets your body moving and it helps get the thoughts out of your head kind of onto paper. Notice how you are easily writing down these things in the comments. I always will recommend, but people will do what they do, to write these things down on paper first and then in the comments. Because if you write it down on paper, you have a paper trail. You have a map. Okay, you have a map that is helping you discover how you got here, which is overwhelmed. It's because I looked at something, I had a thought, it made me feel this feeling. And then it repeated and repeated while things built up. Okay, so body, crown on down. 2, calm down. 3 is write down. And 4 is going to be chunk down. Okay, oh my gosh. 4 is going to be chunk down. So that one persona, you could easily start, as long as you've gone through steps 1 and 2, and then I would say, go into your room with your notebook and write down 3 categories that are part of the bigger pile of decision making. And then pick one that feels easy. Now pick the one that starts the easiest, because that's like kind of getting you, it's like driving slowly before you drive more quickly. Okay? And getting used to and reminding yourself that this decision making isn't being done to create a loss in your life. No, my dears. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. And notice up here, I'm pointing to this heart. Is you are doing the things. You are driving towards the thing you want. Every item you move from your bedroom, and not just move, but you do it in the way that's not didn't organize, only moved. You make a decision and then you feel good about what you keep and you feel good about what you let go. Notice the 2 similarities, 2 instances to feel good. Decluttering makes you feel good because it's getting you closer to that decluttered bedroom. Does that help that one persona? Because I think it would. That's why I said it. If it didn't, let me know. But please write the stuff down. And everybody else here who's in a similar situation, okay, is feeling bad about your clutter, recognize that. But you don't have to stay that way. Because feeling bad about something just keeps you feeling bad. All right? So that one persona, I would love to encourage you to even do a little declutter party on your own during this TikTok live. Do what I said, follow the advice I offered you. See if it works. Because if it doesn't, I want to change what I'm telling people to do. So you'd be doing a service to everybody. If what I just suggested to you doesn't work, please let me know. But I would suggest practicing, trying this out, getting your body, once you've written it down, you're slowed down, all of the things, getting your body engaged in it to see if it works or not. And even just setting your timer for 5 minutes, 3 5-minute chunks. And what I'm hoping you will find out is, because I've heard it from so many people when I've coached or done the TikTok, when we've done a declutter party, the standard ones, of which we have 2 tomorrow. So many times people will say, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The implication, again, fear stopping you. I was afraid it was going to be hard. I was afraid it was going to hurt. I was afraid, and so I didn't start. But once I kind of calmed down that fear and then started, this wasn't so bad after all. It's just stuff. Now, I know your stuff can tell you stories, but this is the great thing about having a TikTok live on in the background. If you don't want to hear the stories, it's kind of like ba, 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 ba. Now, that being said, I want to make sure that you're not hearing the negative stories, but engaging yourself in the stored clutter and the sentimental clutter, I think will be very beneficial for you to listen to what's going on in your head and your heart, okay? But that one persona, if you decide to start working on the bedroom during this TikTok live, there we go, doing the prep work now. Going to bring up a couple of totes to sort through the doom piles. Okay, and I would mention this, that one persona, tick, 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 tick. I have no idea why I just said that. How about this? Chunk it down even further. Going to bring up one tote to sort through the doom piles, okay? Oh, I see what you're saying. Now I'm kind of getting, you're probably bringing up some empty totes to sort things in. That's great. I was thinking of totes of random stuff, but good. Okay, and I'm here for you when you get stuck, okay? Now, user 616440 says, have had a lot of starts and stops. I'm committed to keep on going this time, but even when you're keeping on going, please know that there will be stops and there will be starts. There will be stops and starts, so nothing has gone wrong. Part of the decluttering process, you will stop decluttering, you'll go do something else, but then you can start up again. Not being afraid, not thinking it's a bad thing when you stop, and not thinking it's a scary thing when you start up again. Okay? So you're doing a good job, 616. Do it. Alrighty. My goodness, has it already been 20 minutes? Leslie's having a declutter party at her house. Finished the first 20. Kitchen utensils sorted and got rid of a few items. And it looks better, and I bet it will feel better, especially when you open up one of those drawers and you can more easily find the utensil you're looking for, that the utensil you decided to keep works well, and because it was easy to find that utensil because there's space in the drawer for it, that means that after you've used that utensil, it has a home to go back to. Yeah, there you go. Husbands are always distractions, but they can be cute distractions. Now, who was it? Julie is asking tips on helping a family member. Wow, do I have personal and professional experience with this. So Julie, this is what I've learned. Your heart is in the right place, and it may be a thing that you need to help somebody for other reasons, if somebody's moving, that type of thing. What I will recommend to you, and I'm saying this from experience, is learn the process of decluttering yourself prior to helping somebody with it, okay? Now, I'm not saying it has to be an either or. Learn a good way to declutter so that you can go through it basically without activating somebody's nervous system into an overwhelm and therefore shutdown kind of mode, okay? So, Julie, I don't know if you are good at decluttering. You may be one of those organic people who it comes naturally to. It kind of does to me, but I also have spent decades as like a wicked slob is the phrase that was popped up in my head. But I will say this. I have been more easily able to help somebody else with their clutter when I don't go into it judging it for them, which I've done in the past, and when I trust that we're going to move at a pace that works for them, and I try not to activate my nervous system in frustration with them. And I admit it hasn't happened all the time. I do get frustrated, and I do get bossy, because it's easy to look at somebody else's stuff and think it's just stuff. But if you know that your stuff tells you stories, I bet that other person's stuff is telling them stories as well. And the stories we tell ourselves are what causes what we do. Stories, words in your head cause feelings. Words and feelings cause actions. Okay? Now, Big Sis is saying, I cleared a lot of my house this holiday. Cool. Now there is a tough pile left in my office. So suggestion, yeah. So this is really interesting. Big Sis, you are really doing, talk about when I said you're not alone about this. That one persona is doing pretty much the exact same thing. Pretty much the exact same thing in her bedroom. That she pulled all the things of the tough decisions left in your office. What suggestions? So what I would say is this. Make sure you check in with your nervous system. How are you feeling about this? If you're feeling judgy about it or fearful, calm down your nervous system and sit down, breathe down, drink down a sip of water, and then kind of write down and chunk down. Okay, office, destination decluttered office. And then you can write down some things that you know how to do in the office, and you can do them. You can also take a look at your office and not just see a tough pile, but that pile can be chunked down into smaller categories, I'm sure. Okay? Chunking down, writing down, and chunking down are really important processes for here. But I would offer to both you and to Julie, because both of you are coming into this thinking that the pile is going to be tough, and it's so hard, says Julie, about decluttering when you're trying to help somebody else. Feel overwhelmed. Okay, so if you feel overwhelmed, Big Sis, I highly recommend, and I will do a quick recap of this, but I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives almost every day, usually Monday through Friday. It is rare that I do one of these on the weekends, okay? But occasionally I like to pop up and do them, so I do them. The videos that I did, the TikTok live and the YouTube live that I did on January 1st, go really in depth as to the process that I'm about to share with you. So if you want to get further detail, no, of course, you don't have to show up at 9 o'clock. This is the time I show up. No big deal. And I'm happy to repeat this because you're probably not the only person who's kind of scrolling by and stopping. So what I recommend to everybody all the time is this. Number one is, because if you think about this, if your physical body feels like crap, anything else is going to feel much more tough. If you're tired, if you're hungry, if you got to pee, if your clothes are uncomfortable, if you're cold, whatever. So Big Sis, I'm a big sister too. So I will say take care of yourself as you maybe have taken care of others. Start here, put your hands in the air. I know it sounds goofy, but just do this. From a scan from your crown on down. Okay? Scan from the crown on down and pretend you're in like a little scanning booth, like at the airport, and just make sure you're feeling good physically. If you're not, do something right now to feel better physically. Water, stretching, better clothes, whatever it is, to prepare yourself for this and just feeling better anyway. The second one, which is going to be where your overwhelm is creeping up, is the overwhelm to me, and this has worked out so far, so I keep saying it. Overwhelm is a feeling in your body. I feel overwhelmed. You even said it yourself. I have the feeling of overwhelm in my body. And often that bodily feeling is triggered by a thought in your head. But in the meantime, before we even get to that, let's deal with the fact that if it's a feeling in your body, changing how your body feels, disrupting that overwhelm. Overwhelm, Austin, is your nervous system being like, and this and that and this and that and this, right? So notice when my hands are in the air, again, we're going to calm down. I use the word down a lot. Breathe down, sit down, breathe down, take a sip of water, shoulders down, and then repeat that until you start to feel better physically. And then the third one is writing down. So this is where I love that I call my coaching destination decluttered, and I'm always pointing to this heart kind of at the destination of this little road trip ahead of me. Because then you can write down as you're doing this, and this also will provide a calming nervous system effect. Write down on a piece of paper, destination decluttered, boom, boom, office. Okay? And then when you're feeling better, you will know that ways to get from cluttered office to decluttered office, some ideas will pop up in your head. The ideas that pop up, write them down. The ideas that you write down that seem too big, chunk them down. Okay? So that is a really quick recap. And if you want to get more in depth, also this TikTok Live will be recorded and uploaded to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel later today. And there's almost 950 videos up there helping you. But the ones from January 1st were a nice, just organic recap, okay? So I hope that helps. Now that one persona, I'm glad you think that the January ones were chef's kiss. So thank you for helping them. I hope you are, though, writing down and chunking down and working on stuff in your bedroom, okay? This is why I'm here, is to not just say, because here's the thing. Everything sounds easy in theory. And then when we start to do it, it changes. But I'm here with you, for you, at you, by you. I don't know, blue by you. I am here with you while you start. So you can be like, whoa, okay, now what do I do? It's like I'm a driving teacher. I'm a driving coach, and you've rarely been behind the wheel, or maybe you know how to drive an automatic, and this is like learning how to drive a standard. It's skills that when you learn them, in order to learn them, you need to practice. And at the beginning, you may not be great at it. That's okay. None of us are good at something at the very beginning. The only way you get good at something is you practice. And what does practice mean? It just means showing up and trying, and showing up and trying again, and showing up and doing. I guess there's no do. No, there's only try. No, there's no try, only do. So showing up and doing, practicing. Okay, so practice what I preached. Go and prove me wrong. Show me where what I just said doesn't work. Because I want to be the best coach that I can be. And so the last thing I want to do is tell you to do something that isn't working, right? But the neat thing is I was working in our basement this couple of days ago, and I did the exact same thing. I made sure I felt physically good. So I put on some shoes that made it easy to walk up and down the stairs. Our basement is cold. So I put on an extra layer and put on my work shirt. I went down there and I said, okay, I'm feeling like we can deal with this now. And I grabbed my piece of paper and I looked around and I jotted down some areas to work on and things we could do. And then we started them. And as we started that, other things came up. Oh, you know what would be great is if we did this, okay? Whatever came up, I had my trusty notebook at the ready and I wrote it down. And then we got some stuff done and we felt good about it. But then, kind of like driving a car, my energy started to wane. My husband's energy started to wane. And we also were running out of time. So we stopped. But when we stopped, we felt good about what we did. And Scoops, thank you very much. I love it. Nice to see you. Do or do not. There is no try. Yoda, I believe. And we stopped. We felt good about what we did in the basement. And I have a list of when we want to go there the next time, some things that we had already decided we wanted to work on. So to me, this process works. But if it doesn't work for you, let me know where in that process it doesn't work. And I mean, I used to be a process engineer. Very wacky that I would be one, but it plays to my strength of just being curious about how to get something done, how to create a process, and knowing that it's not all green route. Like, because I used to say, well, what happens here? What happens here? Oh, well, that won't happen. It will happen. Okay, so let's create something there that if that thing happens, then you do this. Okay? I'm here to help. I'm here to help. And I have been a cluttered person, so I am here to help you as kind of one of you. I still, will have. Luckily, I'm looking over now, and I took some time and energy and thought yesterday when I felt good physically, when I had the physical time, the time on my calendar to do it, and when I felt good mentally about doing it. And a lot of it was really piddly little things, like teeny weeny things. Taking a thing and putting it in an envelope and finding my address book and addressing the envelope and finding a stamp and then putting that envelope near the back door and then picking up the envelope and putting it in a bag and then walking down to the post office and getting it mailed. A lot of tiny little things. Okay? Now, yay, Patty Ann is listening and taking down the trees. Yay for me keeping you company as you're doing something. One of us. Yeah, Mel, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. I can't remember what it's called. Was it Freaks, I think? Kind of creepy. So, Mary G and K.E. Hammer 20. I'm here for you for this, okay? Because I am a sentimental person, but I've become slightly less sentimental when I realize that my sentimental feelings are causing a buildup of stuff that I don't necessarily need. So what I want to explain to you right now is my concept of the 3 layers of clutter. Okay, and notice I'm doing it like this because it's kind of top to bottom. It's like the shallow end of the pool into the deeper end. Okay, the very first layer of clutter that pretty much everybody can easily deal with is going to be surface clutter of the surface variety. What does this mean? This means trash, garbage, things that you clearly know that don't belong where they are, and you can easily put them where they do belong. So trash in the trash can, recycles in the recycle bin, garbage, garbage disposal, clothing, the next step, that type of thing. So there's surface clutter, then there's stored clutter. Now, stored clutter is what I like to say is the stuff that's behind doors and drawers, because I like the rhyme, but it's stuff that you have kept, but it's kind of hidden from public view, but you know it's there. And this is when we often use a room, like a bedroom or an office, where you can shut the door so the public, your friends and family, don't see the stuff. This is why we have closets. This is why we have cupboards. This is why we have basements and attics and storage units. Stored clutter is the next level down. And that tends to be stuff that you either feel good about and you're storing until it's time to use it, or there may be some mixed emotions in there. But at least they're out of sight, and sometimes out of sight, out of mind, not all the time. Now the third one that Mary and Kay Hammer are talking about too, deepest one, most difficult for all of us who are feeling human beings. Sentimental clutter. Sentimental clutter. My kids' stuff from when they were little, it's not just some random piece, it's just not some random piece of paper with a scribble on it. That was Jack's version of what a cat looks like. It's not just a pair of shoes, it's a pair of little booties that kid, it triggers, and I say this in a good way, it triggers an emotional response. So you, again, are not alone. You are not alone if you struggle with sentimental clutter, okay? But what I will say is this. Much like I said, the analogy of the 3 layers and how they go deeper, each one, and this is where my brain goes, so I share it with you. It goes to a swimming pool. Before you can be comfortable swimming in the deep end of sentimental stuff, let's just make sure that you are comfortable with the surface, dealing with the surface clutter and with the quantity and quality of stuff that you have in your stored clutter. Because both of those places are a lot kind of safer for your nervous system to learn and get in the process of decluttering. So you get the muscle memory and you get the practice of saying, what is this? Do I want it? Why am I keeping it? And then feeling more confident in your ability to answer those questions, because you have practiced that with the surface and the stored. Okay? Now, I have saved sentimental things for years. I will share with you. this past maybe 6 months, because I have I have an important birthday coming up, or one that, has an O at the end, in about 6 months or so. And I really am feeling this need to shed things that I have carried with me, even if they tell me a story. They have told me that story. I have heard that story. And now I feel okay letting go of some of it. Not all of it, but some of it. And I share this with you because I have walked through it, and this is a slow process to do the sentimental clutter. But I am still feeling good about having recycled and thrown away a lot of stuff that I have literally carried with me for decades. And the fact that I will never have to go through them again will be great. If I want to remember the stories, I realized how easy it was. I went from having a giant 24 by 36 portfolio of drawings that I did in 1988 to having them be little snapshots on my phone. So I still had the evidence of me being able to draw well, but I didn't have to, say, what am I going to do with these drawings? I didn't need the drawing. I wanted the proof that I drew pictures that I still to this day think look good. But did I need to lug around that stuff? No. So I offer this to you as somebody who just does not stand up here and tell you what to do. I'm driving on the road trip to my destination decluttered as well, which is to have fewer things but enjoy what I have. If I want to keep the memory, do I need all of this stuff? No. What can I easily let go of? Right? How did I dispose of those drawings? I tore them up and put them in the recycle bin because I didn't want anybody else, because I've trash picked before. I know I have trash picked stuff that other people have thrown away, so I made sure that I just tore them up and threw them away. And I feel okay about it. Notice I can easily say that. Not like, oh my God, but they looked so good and you could have framed them. I had them hanging up. I had 4 of them hanging up very, very casually in our last house to show if anybody walked in. Ooh, what are those? Oh, Beth did those. Oh, she's good. I'm done with that. And damn it, Donna's saying, I went through this process when I turned 60 too. Yeah, Donna. So it could be just, it's like we've been hanging around. This stuff tends to accumulate. All right. So I hope that helps. Surface stored sentimental. Crown on down, scan your body, calm down your nervous system, write down all sorts of things. Write down what's bugging you, write down what you love. Write down where you want to be. What's your destination? What do you want your home to look like? What do you want that room to look like? Chunking down from home to room to surface. What do you want that one utensil drawer to look like, to function like? Because if it looks good and it functions well, you are probably going to feel good about that. Okay? Yeah, and I've done the same thing with pictures that I have several copies of. Yes, notice the duplicates. You can easily get rid of those. I am now in the process of easily low-key scanning stuff to share it with people, and it's been great. And then I don't have to keep the pictures anymore. Yeah. There we go. Kara's Garden says, oh my God, I have a big portfolio of my I am going to be a clothing designer drawing from 1984. Yeah, many of us do, because the technology of the time, if you think of it, pre-internet, pre-computer, pre-digital everything. And so the way that you learned something is you had an idea and you wrote it down and you tried it. And probably some of my drawings sucked, weren't good, but I showed up again and again and again because it was a class, and I got more confident and I was less judgy. And when I started to say, and I got some positive feedback from somebody, the teacher in the class, which allowed me to relax and not be afraid of kind of screwing up, because there was no screwing up, but just getting into the process. So notice, Kara, we have evidence. We carry around with us evidence of who we used to be and who we thought we were going to be. And I love it that Leslie is also saying, I moved through kids' stuff incrementally, and kindly, but regularly, once a year. And now the multiple tubs have turned into 2. Yeah, and no mistakes, just happy accidents. Yeah, yeah. There are no mistakes in love, right, Patty Smythe? So notice what you are carrying around with you. Think about this. Let's pretend that you don't have a house, and everything that you own in your house that you are carrying around with you, you are required to put in an Airstream and drag it along with you. How heavy would that be? Would you be able to travel light? How easily could you move into your Barbie dream house if somebody gave you the opportunity, but you needed to clean out the house you're living in first, and you had to do it in a short amount of time? Okay? So yeah, former self hits big. We all have costumes. We all have memories of who we thought we would be, and maybe we were that person for a time. Maybe we're still that person. Part of us is still that person and part of us is not. Kind of collecting up evidence of who you used to be, but also not dragging down who you are right now. Yeah, and say, the portfolio is not going into the Airstream. I'm using this analogy with stuff right now. Exactly. Yeah. And so notice too, I will just give this. I see the hand smack and I see bits and pieces, and notice stored clutter. Jennifer is saying the basement. Bits and pieces is saying the attic. Accumulated stuff. Stuff that we think represents who we were, who we thought we were going to be, who we thought we were in many chapters of our lives. You know, it's funny. I was doing something on my website recently, destinationdecluttered.com. If you want to find out when I'm doing another TikTok live, join the mailing list and you get the access to the thing. We're doing 2 declutter parties tomorrow too. But I was on my own website, and I'll be honest with you, I know business people are going to be like, don't say that. I don't often look at my own website. I think it's good. I think I get my clients. It tends to be working. And I noticed how many kind of hairnets and plastic name badges I had of where I've worked and what I have done for careers, since I have been on this planet. And they are varied and similar but different, And so I say this, many of us have different lives, but are you using the evidence and dragging around who you used to be? Is it impeding? Is it getting in the way of you living the life you want to live now? Because I want to kind of transcend a lot of that stuff and feel lighter and move flexibly and easily throughout the world. If somebody said, oh, hey, there's a really cool house in Palm Springs, you can have it for free, but you need to clean out the house you have now and move all the stuff you're going to keep in a truck that you're driving across country to get there. Now, I could do that damn quick right now, and I love that feeling. Is somebody going to offer me a free house in Palm Springs? Maybe. Blink, blink, blink. But even that idea of being able to easily feel good about what I'm bringing with me to decorate my Barbie dream house, So I love it. Decluttering party. Okay, so a couple of things I'm seeing showing up right now, and we've got about 11 minutes together, and then I need to do a costume change and get my day going. Jennifer, notice your use of emojis indicates overwhelm. Ugh, my basement. I can't even, go down there. Yuck. You can. It's just going to make you feel uncomfortable. So prepare yourself, making sure you feel okay physically. Make sure you feel good nervous system-y. And if you're not feeling it, notice that and baby steps it. I won't force you down there if you're really triggered, but that's nervous system stuff. You can go down there, but it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. But I would say, go there and just notice it. Notice it and start to feel okay. It is just stuff. And I say that to your logical brain, but I'm saying that to also calm down your nervous system. My basement was a hot mess for 20 years here, including and especially the floor itself. Last year, after 20 years of saying, we got to do something about that basement floor. We did something about that basement floor, and it required us to move every stitch of items out of the basement and put somewhere else. And it was a job, but man, it was a good experience. I love how our basement is looking right now. But if I was afraid and never went down there and avoided it, that wouldn't have happened. But you can do this. And as Leslie says, the decluttering party is a great time for playing in the attic or cellar. Yeah, because you know what? Because you're not alone. You're not alone up there. Oh my God, I'm scared. You're with friends. Now, this is interesting. Joycey says, just tossed a box of old birthday all occasion cards. It made me sad at first. What did you feel after the sad? Because the sad doesn't last. Emotions don't last as long as we think they do. At first, I felt sad, but then I felt Mad Libs. Adjective? Feeling? Okay. Alrighty. Pinky says, I moved after my husband died and created an entertaining home. Then realized I didn't want to entertain. All right. So you know what the cool thing is, Pinky? You learned something about yourself. There was a part of you who thought you wanted to be an entertaining person. So you created what you wanted, and then you're like, okay, I don't know if I want this anymore. That's all right. You're evolving, but you got to play hostess. This is what I'm going through a lot of stuff now that is evidence of when we used to have a big blowout party every December and sometimes in June. Big punch bowls, tons of paper plates in totes that I haven't opened in like 4 or 5 years because we don't party like that anymore. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, and so Kara's Garden, notice when we create this story in our head, if there was a free house somewhere, it was our Barbie dream house, I like to call it, because I'm a Gen Xer, right, who watched a lot of TV. How much more clearly you see the contrast between what you would keep and what you would let go of. And I say this. Notice, I'd have a giant estate sale tomorrow. I'd pack up the hubs, the pugs, and the kitties, and my Christmas elves, and I would move. So notice that is also thinking about what you would do to decorate your own new house. You could do that in the house you live in right now. Pretend you're moving into your dream house. Notice how you would get there, what you would do to get there, and then say, wait a minute, I am living in my dream house. If where I'm living here right now, why can't I do that right now? I have played the we're moving to Palm Springs, will this look good in my Palm Springs home? I've played that game with myself for years now. It's been really interesting because up here I know we're not moving, but down here it feels fun. And when it feels fun, I realize that I'm keeping what I want. I'm letting go of more stuff because it doesn't fit in. And then voila, my house here in Eastern PA looks and feels more Palm Springsy because of playing that game of what would I do if I was moving. So have some fun with your decluttering. Create your dream home as best you can in the 4 walls and ceiling and roof that you have right now. Because everybody here deserves to live in a home that's safe and comfortable and you feel good in. That's what I think. I hope you do too. So, as I pause and take a sip, a reminder to the people who've been hanging out for a while, but also the new people coming along. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. You'll see it somewhere on the TikTok live that we're doing right now. I will be here for like another 6 minutes, and then I'm going to sign off because I need to change my clothes and live my life. But I will share this with you. I do TikTok lives daily, usually during the work week, Monday through Friday. I occasionally do them on the weekends, and I may do a few more weekendy TikTok lives on the days that I can't do a declutter party. Okay, so Tammy Junker Cowell saying, boy, do I need you. Here I am. I'm going to rock you like a hurricane. Okay, so Tammy, if you need me, this is what I recommend to everybody who's just getting to know, just kind of we're being introduced. The single easiest thing you can do to get more of what I do in your life is simply sign up for my free, low-key, no-pressure email group. You go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You sign up for the mailing list. I do not email you a lot. I hate that stuff. But because you have given me your email address, I give you a link to a secret page that gives you all sorts of resources for free. Some of them are paid, but much of it is free. And one of the free things that you get is the schedule to know when I show up for a TikTok live or a YouTube live. Okay? That is a very low barrier to entry, as they would say, to get yourself started being connected by somebody who has been helping people declutter for years. Okay? Yay, that one persona. Update. Not done, but better. I love that. I want you to write that down for yourselves, because often the decluttering is not a one and done. We want it to be. We want it to be like everything's tied up with a bow, kind of like the end of, a Brady Bunch episode. Life doesn't work that way. But you are now further away from feeling bad. You're feeling better. You've got less clutter. And remember this good feeling. So tomorrow, when we do the declutter party, or you just play at home on your own, you remember the good feeling associated with getting started with the decluttering, as opposed to the fear that you started with. Because that's what it's all about. If you're in fear, you're not going to move forward. But if you start to feel better, that's when you make progress at a pace that feels right to you. Hey, there you go. Talk about donating something that's going to change somebody's life. Laura Gibbon Voorhees says she just finished donating blood, trusting that her body will, she has just enough, she has enough blood for herself, and what she donates will be replenished. God, that sounds almost religious. Yay, you. Yesterday, Hubs and I, she says, donated 3 bags of blankets and a bin of stuff. Awesome. Good. Speaking of 3 bags full, 1 for the master, 1 for the dame, and 1 for the little girl who lives down the lane, right? Good morning, Melissa. I have 3 bags in my car to take to Goodwill tomorrow after work. Rock. Yay. And user 616440 says, join her mailing list. Your future self will thank you. Yeah. It's fun. I don't do anything that's not fun. That's probably why there are far fewer declutter parties happening this month than I anticipated, because we had some fun opportunities come up in our personal life. And one of my goals for this year is to easily say yes to interesting opportunities. Okay? And I know that even when I don't do a declutter party, that I have given you the tools so you can do it on your own. But if we are able to do it together, like we will tomorrow, Sunday, here, let me look at the secret page. Sunday, January 4th, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern is a start time for a declutter party, 9 to 10:30. And then Sunday, January 4th, again tomorrow, I missed a little colon, 11 to 12:30. Okay? If you want to do this, a declutter party is not on TikTok, it's not on YouTube, it's private, and it's on Zoom just for the people who buy the tickets. And the ticket price goes to 100% goes to a local food bank. You can buy your tickets and show up and hang out, and you get a lot more kind of one-on-one type coaching and, camaraderie. But in order to do that, in order to be invited, you need to give me your email address so I know where to send the invite. See if you RSVP. Now, Leslie's going to show up. We have a couple of other people. I know Judy's going to show up. Yeah. Tammy got married. Congratulations. I have a house of 30 years of stuff to go through. How do I start? Slowly, but just start. I would offer Tammy probably the easiest thing to do right now, because we only have 1 minute left, okay, is start with surface clutter. Stuff that really doesn't have an emotional charge. Trash, recycles, things you've already decided to donate. Start with that stuff, and then make sure you're on my mailing list. After you've done that stuff, you can show up again to a TikTok live and say, okay, I did that, now what? And I'll tell you what when you get there. Okay? I love it. SC Native, word is freedom. I love it. And Stephanie says, I'm going to end with this. My 11-year-old heard your voice and said, I'm not starting my room yet. I love it. It's like Pavlov's dog. Okay? And I guess I'm the dog, or the bell, or the food, or the saliva. I don't know. But you know what I do know is it just hit 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I need to get out of my pajamas into my yoga pants, because I promised myself I'd go to a yoga class today. It's been weeks, okay? Have a good day, everybody. And I look forward to seeing as many of you as sign up on tomorrow's 2 declutter parties, and perhaps on a TikTok live, YouTube live next week. They're all scheduled. DestinationDecluttered.com. Join the mailing list. Get an email with the link to the page that shows you the schedule. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys. Have a good day. Catch you tomorrow.